All right. Thank you, everyone who is joining us here either live or via recording for our MS in Entrepreneurship webinar series. Today's webinar is going to be focusing on our fantastic faculty and their thoughts on the program, the courses they teach, and what they recommend students take into account as they are preparing for their own MS in Entrepreneurship program, how they can be successful, what opportunities to take advantage of, and all that. Today, I'm so excited to be joined by Associate Professor Anoud Bani-Hani. Anoud teaches ENTP 6300 AI-Driven Entrepreneurship, which is a very, very relevant course, very popular amongst our students, offers a lot of opportunities for students to really dive into the cutting edge industry, really put themselves in a position where they understand how best to utilize AI in their businesses. It's fantastic. Anu, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing here today?
I'm good. How are you? How are you, Brian?
Doing all right. It's Wednesday morning. We're kicking along as we move towards finals and then the start of another semester. It just never ends.
I know it's always going, but it's fun, and that's what we do here at the university.
That's it. That's it. We're very excited to have you here to share your thoughts about your course, but excuse me, the overall program at large. And so, for everyone here who is joining us, just a quick outline of what we will be talking about here today. We're going to be obviously having our interview with Associate Professor Anoud Bani-Hani. We're going to also share some information about the Jake Jab Center for Entrepreneurship and resources that you all can utilize as incoming students. I will talk a bit about the program at large. We'll talk a bit about the curriculum that you can anticipate within the program, the various opportunities that you will have. We will get into this as well in our conversation. In addition, we'll talk a bit about networking, mentorship opportunities that you can utilize throughout your program to get more of that experiential education, really get out of your comfort zone, and really focus on how best to be an entrepreneur in real time. We'll also talk tuition and scholarships so that you all understand expectations around funding, financing, and opportunities for scholarships that can help to take the burden off of the overall program for you. We'll review a bit of the application for anyone who is still finalizing their application ahead of our fall deadlines. And then we'll open it up to any sort of questions that you all have throughout this presentation. Um, I will also note, for anyone here or anyone who is watching who is not connected with our center or not connected with me, I oversee recruitment and advising for the Masters of Entrepreneurship program and for the Jake Jab Center at large. I work with undergraduate and graduate students. I'm always happy to set up a 30-minute call over Zoom, over the phone, whatever's easiest for you, in person, for students who have questions about our program. So do not hesitate to reach out if that is something that you're interested in. All right, let's dive in here to our conversation. I'm going to just bring the both of us on here so students can just see us as we're conversing. Um, Anu, you teach ENTP 6300, but you're also an entrepreneur yourself. You've worked within academia for quite some time. You've also worked outside of that. Tell us a little bit about your career to this point in time and what attracts you to entrepreneurship.
So, thank you so much, Brian. So, for me, I have been in academia for the past maybe 12 years, been always interested in academia. I have done my master's in multimedia and internet computing, and I then did an NGD, Doctorate of Engineering in ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning Systems, and so on. So, I always tell my students what I have studied back then, whether it was my undergrad or whether it was my master's or PhD, if I don't keep renewing what I studied and know and like updating my knowledge every day, especially when we're talking about IT and knowledge and everything, then that knowledge is no longer there.
Yeah.
So with time, I've noticed that entrepreneurship is one of the hypes that coming up. And back in 2016, I've decided to. I was back in Dubai, and what I've decided to do as a professor in academia, that I'm gonna start taking courses in entrepreneurship and maybe start my own journey. And that's what
Mm,
I've done. So I've taken courses with different universities online, and I've become certified as an academic entrepreneurship professor. And one of the things we started back then is, and what I have noticed is there's a gap between academia and industry. There is a lot of gap where students graduate and they don't know how to take this to the next step. So we decided to open a center called the Next Generation Center. And this Next Generation Center was about bridging the gap between academia and industry. So I was the co-founder and the director of the center back in Dubai. And what we started teaching students is how to become an entrepreneur. And this journey was just amazing. Students come with fresh ideas and wanted to do more after they graduate. And we help them in that center how to build this and how to go step by step to become an entrepreneur. And then that journey continued when I joined here at CU Denver, the business school and the Jake Job Center. And all that knowledge is something that is very important for me as a faculty at the entrepreneurship master program, to help the student develop how to become an entrepreneur and how to use the right technology to and utilize it in the best way possible to become that entrepreneur.
mm, mm. I love that. Yeah, and I mean those tools, the skills that are built, you talk about how this is something that hadn't really been recognized academically for quite some time. It was seen as, well, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you probably should leave school and just go and take this risk. But there are a lot of opportunities to apply academic rigor, academic research towards entrepreneurship and to test out these ideas and test out these pathways before going and taking that risk professionally. So I love that experience that you have. Um, Tell me, kind of with all of this in mind, first big question for you, why do you think that a budding entrepreneur should go back to school for an MS in entrepreneurship? What is the value there for a student?
So Brian, entrepreneurship today isn't just about having a great idea. It's about the execution of the idea, the scalability, the adaptability, and like adaptability in a data-driven, AI-enabled world. So this, like having a master's in entrepreneurship gives founders structured tool to analyze the market, test the assumptions, and design business models that can be withstand real-world uncertainty. So when you come and study, this is a space where you can fail safely. Okay, so you can try, you can learn. We are here. You have a bunch of mentors available for you in this master program, where you can learn from them and they can refine your concept before actually facing investors or even customers. You don't want to go out there. It's okay to try, to learn, to fail, but this is a safe place where you can actually fail and refine your concept. So you are surrounded by faculty who are researchers, who are practitioners, and peers from diverse industries. Like the amount of students that I have in my classes, or the amount of diversity in my students. I have students from psychology, I have students from biology, I have from business school, I have students. I have an opera singer this year in my class.
Wow.
I know, it's amazing. She's like, I want to learn more about AI and how I
Yeah.
can actually implement this in my own business. She's like, I sing at the opera, but I've seen like even in there we use AI and we become with entrepreneurial ideas. So all of this accelerate how you think and make and help you make better decisions as an entrepreneur, learning from your peers and learning from the faculty and the mentors at the master program.
I love the phrase that you use there, fail safely. It's something that I think about so much with students. You know, and we'll talk about this when we get to the tuition side of things, but one of the unique aspects of our program is that we can set our tuition separate from the business school because of our funding. And so we've tried to set this program tuitions deliberately lower for non-resident international students so that they have an easier pathway into the program. And part of the reason we do that is if you're going to go back to school and you're going to pay $30,000 for a master's degree, um, first and foremost, you want that to actually mean something going forward. But secondly, you want within that time frame to really be testing out what it is that you're focused on.
Mhm.
And what I always try to tell students, and what you're, speaking about here is, wouldn't you rather put that $30,000 towards a master's degree program that gives you the degree, that gives you all the experience, but allows you to fail in the way that you will fail as an entrepreneur? There's almost no one, I don't think there's a single person who's ever created something and successfully sold it who hasn't failed at some point. And that failure can either be detrimental because it's all the money that you have invested in this industry, or all the money that you were able to have invested from investors you were able to raise. Um, or you do that within this program. If you learn through failure within the program, you still are coming out with a degree, and then afterwards, you're still in a position to build that out. So it's a really interesting theory that I think appeals to a lot of entrepreneurship students.
Yeah, and it's not just that. Like if you fail within the program, there's a lot of people to actually help you
Yeah.
build your concept, and actually they can see what you cannot see, because we've had the experience and we've had all these people from inside the university and outside. We bring speakers, we bring mentors from outside the university who can actually see things you do not see as you're working on your business. So they can actually help you refine what went wrong, what went right, and help you actually build your concept and take it further.
Well, and if you're on your own, you have to find that network yourself. Here, those resources are right there to help you, to assist you. If something goes wrong and you're like, well, I don't know why didn't my pitch connect with more people? You have
Mhm.
10 people here that you can talk to give you all the feedback that you could possibly need. So that's fantastic. Um, when we think about the MS Entrepreneurship Program, it is still a relatively new concept. I think that there's a handful of us around the United States right now. Um, some really great programs, but there is also a differentiation between the MS Entrepreneurship Program focus and an MBA or another business degree. Can you talk, as someone who teaches throughout the business school here, what do you see as the differentiation between a master's of entrepreneurship versus someone who wanted to go back for an MBA?
Very good question. So, I always tell the students the master's in entrepreneurship is hands-on, it's fast-moving, and built for doers. Now, while an MBA is amazing and covers broad management theory, this program focuses specifically on innovation, startup strategy, value creation, and you're not learning just from case studies, as I see in the, for example, MBA program. You are building your own case study, and this is what I love about this master's in entrepreneurship. Every course we take in this master's leads towards a venture, a prototype, or an investor-ready concept. The focus on experimentation, creativity, and even leveraging technology, especially in AI in my case,
Yeah.
to solve real problems is amazing. I really like that. The way we teach the courses, I'm going to talk a little bit about my course. So the way I teach the course is we take one concept every week and focus how we're gonna do this toward your own project. And this is what I love. Like you come out from this program with an entrepreneurial idea focused on experimentation, creativity, using the
Mm,
right technology to actually make it happen.
I love that. So, like the themed learning on a week by week basis, plus applying it to general trends in AI, how do you use AI at this point in time, all of that sort of stuff. It sounds to me like what you're trying to do is take real world experiences and then understand, okay, then what is the real world pathway through this software, through this technology?
Definitely. Yes. Yes,
Very,
that's
very hands-on.
mm,
That phrase that you said, you're really good with these. Build your own case study. That's a huge difference from what you would anticipate in kind of a general business course of, okay, here's something that happened at this other company. Let's not focus on all the context, but why did this, what went right, what went wrong? Here, you get to actually test this out from the conception standpoint, through the pitching standpoint, through investors, through building out your operations, all of those steps you can really test against experience and against feedback you're getting from people.
definitely. So I teach different courses, and I teach for undergrad, for information systems or like any other courses, we use, as you said, we have books, we use the case studies, we also like look online. I talk about my own case study and my own experience, but to experience your own case in the classroom and actually build on it, that's what I feel the students love. Like I get some feedback like now in my course, one of the students is like, I've been in industry for the past 25 years, I have my own business and so on. What I'm learning today that used to cost me, for example, thousands of money just for a marketing idea, for building all of that. Now with AI and the other technologies that we're using, is like I am finishing that within the 3 hours of the class.
Mm,
And
mm.
it's not costing me anything except the subscription for the AI if he has to. So which is really nice feedback. Like the students is like, you're blowing up our mind. And I really like this like feedbacks because it
Yeah.
actually does make a difference. You can see the difference in their businesses and the way they're doing the work.
Yeah, once they recognize that there's a tool out there that is relatively cost effective that they can use to build out the, I mean, 30 years ago, we were first getting an introduction of this with the internet. But, any time before that, the idea of just quick answers as you're building out an idea, yeah, it's definitely there as a tool that students are using and is blowing their minds. It's fantastic.
And we do a comparison, like this is how you do it traditionally, and this is how
Mm.
with our like with the experimentation on technology, or even like when we like I take every student idea and we talk even one to one, and we start going building on that idea and trying to like show them the path of how to do right, to do things right. It's really nice. Like the students keep saying, one of the nice comments I always it's like, I didn't know I can do that. I didn't know I can idea this way, which is really nice. And I
Yeah.
think I think it opens up your mind to new ways of building your own business. That was not like something you cannot see out there if you're just trying and doing. Because again, we've had the experience. I've dealt with so many entrepreneurs for the past 10 years, and we build on this, and we keep updating our knowledge every single day as a faculty and as entrepreneurs, and we bring that into the classroom, which is really nice.
You speak to something that I've always found one of the reasons why I love this role, why I love working with students is, and it's one of the things that makes the entrepreneurship program so unique, is that you are seeing students come in with a pretty, in some cases it's fleshed out, but in a lot of cases it's a vague dream. It's
Mhm,
it's this is where I want to be in 5, 10 years. And then you have to prove that this idea is worth someone else investing in,
mhm.
and then more people and more people, and then you have to prove that people want to buy this product, and it's kind of then it ripples from there. And that initial realization that students seem to have, be it through technology, be it through one-on-one conversations with an entrepreneur or investor, them coming with that, I didn't know I could do this until I actually did it. um, you see something that has been kind of like fermenting in someone's mind, and maybe they've told their closest friends, maybe they've told family, maybe they've gotten good feedback, maybe someone's been like, no one's ever going to buy that, why are you even doing that? But they still believe it, wherever they're at, they start taking these courses, they start having these conversations and realize that this can be a reality, which is just, it's so exciting to see. um, I want to talk a bit about location, because you are very well traveled. You spent time in Dubai, very entrepreneurial city, a city where new ideas and technology are constantly bursting at the seams in a lot of ways. You've been in Denver for a few years now. Do I have that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Denver is this very unique place where it was kind of a forgotten frontier for some time, and then it was, where every ski bum came to retire, and now it's this like budding tech entrepreneurial center here in the middle of the country. What do you think, for anyone who is on the call right now, or for anyone who is watching this in recording, who's not from Denver, who doesn't necessarily know what makes Denver special? What do you think makes Denver unique as a hub for young entrepreneurs?
So Brian, Denver has a very vibrant and collaborative entrepreneurial ecosystem. It's big enough to offer opportunities, but small enough for you to actually show yourself and can really build your idea. And what I really love about it is it's because of the size of Denver, you can easily build connections and you can easily meet investors, join incubators, and access tech talents. And we have that a lot. As you said, Denver is basically a hub for technology now, and so on. The city also has a very strong culture of sustainability, innovation, and social impact. So one of the things I love is it's perfect for founders who wants to build purpose-driven ventures. Okay, and for our students being in the heart of downtown, because I love the location where our Jake Job Center is for
Yeah.
entrepreneurship. So being in downtown gives them direct access to local startup scene and community events. We've seen Colorado Startup Week that we've had. I've met so many people. I've built so many connections, and I have so many of them coming as speakers to my classes this upcoming weeks. Like I have the one this coming Thursday, the next Thursday, and so on. And they all looking for unique ideas, students who have these innovative, different also ideas. So which I find Denver is the perfect place for this. I come from Dubai. Dubai, they have, as you said, it's entrepreneurial and so on, but it's too crowded, too much at this
Sure.
point. Now with Denver, it's all hyping up right now, and it's an amazing idea, opportunity for students to be here if they really want to start in the right place.
That idea of it's big enough that there's investment, there's stuff happening here, from a marketability standpoint. You've got any city with the four major sports teams. It's kind of a calling card that, okay, this is a place where people want to be. There's a lot of young people that are here. The weather is outstanding. I could turn this into a whole Denver weather podcast if we wanted to, but but the fact that it's big enough for all this stuff, but it's also small enough. It's something that really struck me when I started working here at the Jake Job Center. I remember about a month into my role, we were kicking off the Climb series, and we had this night where all of our investors, all of our entrepreneurs that we're connected with here through the center were coming to advise students. And I remember feeling really nervous. Like there's going to be all these, extremely successful people in the same room. Like what is the vibe going to be like? How are these people going to be with our students? And what I noticed was so many of these people who have done incredible things in various sectors and various technology, all these different fields, they're all very down to earth. And they want to just have a communal building experience with these students. And they are so willing to sit down. And you're in this group as well, people that just want to sit down, hear students' ideas, kind of because like there's a high you get from hearing new ideas. You hear new concepts in this like budding form, and you're like excited to share with them. And oh, I think you should do this. And I think, have you considered this? Why are you looking at it this way? And those kind of conversations for students are often the first time they've ever had those conversations. And having a city like Denver where you can then have that connection on a Thursday night, a guest speaker comes to your class, you go up to them. Who knows what courage it takes students to do that sometimes, but they go up to those people and say, hey, I'd love to have a follow-up conversation with you about this thing I'm doing. These people will actually sit down and have coffee with you and then introduce you to someone in their network. And that sort of communal sharing and that sense of community that we have here around innovation and new ideas seems really special in a place where there is so much success already happening.
Yeah, definitely. What you said is right. It's amazing. Like every time I go to the climb pitch, for example, like the amount of ideas the students come up with and so on, they come and talk to us, and I just love them. And they only need to tweak a little bit or fix things a little bit. And with the guidance and with sitting with these mentors, or for example, joining this master program, they will really know how to take this further. And I've had students after this climb pitch who actually join the master program, and I was like, do you remember
Yeah.
me? I talked to you about this idea and so on, and now I'm gonna take this to through this master program and actually build it and maybe get a fund at some point and so on. It's amazing. It's really amazing. And as you said, like even when I go to a client page, like when I see the people in there, I was like, wow, this person works in this company or that company, or they have
Yeah.
they have their own entrepreneurs. It's like they have companies with that worth millions of money. I was like, oh my God, they are actually here with us. They come to the Jake Job Center because of the location of Denver and the place we are in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's such a good point. And let's talk about that from a feedback standpoint, because the climb does that, the courses do that, the mentorship opportunities do that. You were talking about like, they don't necessarily need so much to change, but getting that feedback is essential.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of students that come to our program, I said this a bit earlier, they have an idea that maybe they haven't shared with anyone outside of like close family, close friends. And usually those are the type of people who'd be like, that's a great idea. You should keep doing that. But the people that they need to convince are the people who are going to be very skeptical and are like, I don't see $1 million here, and bridging that gap of enthusiasm versus how do I constantly keep a perspective on this idea that it's never fully finished, if you know what I mean, that it's always developing. Why do you think that that is so important for entrepreneurship students? What about feedback is so essential?
Okay. So Brian, the the difference between an entrepreneur and just any other person, like I have a job, I have a boss, I have somebody who guide me through, who would actually sit with me and tell me, do this, do that. This is your work description. This is your job description, for example. You have a team around you who will help you, who will guide you, and so on. With entrepreneurship, it can feel a little bit of isolation in there. Okay, so learning directly from people who have been there, okay, provide clarity and humility. Now, feedback help you test your assumptions early. I don't want to hear somebody from, just somebody around me who was like, oh, don't do this, don't do that, oh, what a crazy idea. And I've seen that a lot. And I always tell the students, and I was like, how many of you actually came home with an idea and everybody just like your brother, your siblings, for example. I have a brother who was like, every time we think of something, he would just laugh about it. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh, come on, you're silly. We've
yeah,
all
yeah,
been,
yeah. We all have
but
those people. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. But learning from people who have been there, who can actually help you test assumptions in your head, or, for example, successful founders who can spot blind spots you cannot see in your idea, is very important. So at CU Denver, we bring in entrepreneurs and industry mentors who don't just give motivation talks that we see on any, for example, channel online or social media and so on. It's not just about motivation. We actually challenge your ideas. I sit with the students, me, and I'm sure every single faculty that we have, we challenge student ideas. We introduce them to networks. We often open even doors to partnerships and funding opportunities. So all of this can actually make a difference in their perspective and the way they think and so on. So feedback is very important to begin their journey in the right way.
Yeah, that's so good because, without that alternate perspective, you may just not know exactly where to go next. You may have this idea that has a good foundation, but if you haven't started to break that apart, how are you going to know what the next step is without someone giving you a counterfactual or, a little bit of a critique back, back and forth at you? Um, it also makes me think you talked about how, so many people who are just in business, they have a boss.
Mhm.
Part of the challenge with entrepreneurship, you are the boss. You have to kind of be self-critical in a way that you don't necessarily have to be without that role. And I think one of the things about feedback that helps is it starts to trigger that self-criticism, not necessarily not in a negative way, although there are highs and lows, there is isolation, there's loneliness that comes with entrepreneurship. I don't want to, beat around that, but the the daily motivation of waking up and saying, I'm going to keep chipping away at this. I'm going to keep tweaking this. I'm going to keep working on this until I can bring other people on, and then I'm in charge of them. And now I have to set the standard. That's a hard thing for some people to adapt to, and those expectations are challenging. And I think feedback helps with that because it makes you realize there's so much that I need to consider as I'm building this out.
Definitely, yeah.
Let's talk a bit about your course, Entrepreneurship 6300. You talked a little bit about it earlier, but AI-driven entrepreneurship, obviously. So I started here just about 3 years ago, and I
Mhm.
remember about 10 days after I started, ChatGPT went online. And I remember the entire school administration lost their minds because all the kids were using it on tests, and oh my God, this is how are we going to function as an academic system? And then in February of 2023, a big email went out that, wait, 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 students should be able to use this because this is the next tool. And it was that fall 23, that we launched your course, Entrepreneurship 6300. You launched this course for the master's program. Tell me why you think this course is valuable, why you recommend students take this within their program.
Mhm. Um, so this is one of my favorite courses. I've taught so many courses throughout my life and academia, but this is one of my favorite courses. Uh, this course basically bridges two worlds, your creativity with artificial intelligence, which is amazing. Students learn how to use AI to ideate, to design, to grow your startups, and also from identifying your customers' needs to building predictive financial models and personalizing marketing experience and so on. So in this course, we work in teams to build prototypes and even use tools like AI tools, okay? And it's not just ChatGPT. Now, it's amazing the amount of tools, whether it's like Microsoft or Gemini or ChatGPT or, for example, Canva, Gamma. I have a huge number. Like I look at this, I show the students an amount of AI tools that they can use that you would never imagine, Brian. Like I even show them AI tools that builds up apps for them to for their businesses and so on. Like just give them tell them about your business, tell them the idea and so on. We can actually build an app ready for you to go into the market. We have it's amazing, and most of them that does not even require coding anymore. So they work on all of these teams to simulate business processes or generate market insights as well. By the end of the course, students don't just understand AI, they actually know how to apply it strategically to launch and scale businesses. So we start with general ideas at the beginning, like the first couple of weeks. And I was like, I bring the ideas to the classroom. I tell them, I have this business. I want you to help me build it with the following tools. And I even help them with prompts. I help them with, of course, after I give them theory and we talk like, so I split my class in 3 hours, 1 hour of theory. Then second hour, I actually give them a case that I build and I ask them to build a business in the classroom and present it in the third hour. It's
Wow.
fascinating how you can actually build a whole business within 2 hours.
Wow.
And they it's fun, and every week I give them a different concept, but after the third week I tell them, okay, now it's your turn. I want you to tell me about your idea, and you have two options. You can work in teams and build it if you're happy with it, or you can work solo if you want to build your own idea and come up with a business by the end of the course. And actually maybe I can help you get opportunity to network with somebody and present your idea, or even get a fund to take your idea further. And that's with the help with the entrepreneur with the Jake Jap Center. So I actually send our students to pitch their ideas when with the events that we have. So it's really nice to see every week how the way they build their business, the way they think is different, and the way they become even faster in doing the work, and the way they come up with ideas. I even tell the students a very nice thing. I always tell them, I learn from you as you learn from me. I come here to also learn from, because there's a lot of students, Brian, in my class who have an amazing experience and who have
Yeah.
been in businesses for years. So I tell them, I learn from you, I teach you, and I learn back from you. So come
Mm.
up with ideas and talk to me. So I honestly, sometimes when I start the class and it's like, I know it. I have to talk to you about this. I actually used the tool to do the following, and it actually gave me this result. Or I did not know I can do that, and it's amazing.
Wow.
So this course, for me, is I'm so passionate about it because I can see how much difference every week it makes in my students' life. And by the end of it, they actually do have a full idea they can actually take further. And sometimes we collaborate with different courses within the within the entrepreneurship master program, and they can take this idea next. And I even receive emails from different professors like, "Oh my God, I saw the student idea that they built at your class. We're taking this further," and amazing.
Oh man. So there's a lot you said there that I'm just kind of reacting to because I think for me, when I think about our program and I think about the best benefits of it, it is the hands-on element of it. And what your program is essentially doing is saying, okay, there's this newfound tool that we can use across all aspects of business. And what is one of the unifying factors of startups? So many of them are going to be lean.
Mhm.
If you have an idea for the first year, 2 years, who knows how long of that business, you are the person who is running the show. You are the marketing head, you are operations, you are everything. And how do you get the word out about your business? How do you run your business efficiently as a one-person show or a two-person show? Or, I mean, I've worked in a few small companies where everyone's just wearing multiple hats, and you are in charge of this division, but also you have stuff to do over here as well. And that's just kind of the nature of small businesses, and how we can use AI tools to actually make those small businesses run more efficiently so they can generate a better profit, so you can hire more people. We can put people in a position where they can continue to follow their own individual dreams because now they've learned how to use these tools and they can spin them off themselves. There's so much here that's applicable, not just to our course, but also I think from a professional development standpoint going forward. And tell me if I'm wrong, but like if someone goes through your class and they never start a business of their own, but
Mhm.
those tools can still be used in any job that they're going to go into going forward, right?
Definitely, definitely. And honestly, every week, like we start up, for example, with ideation the first week. So let's get an idea. Let's read before about previous ideas. Let's talk about ideas. Let's generate ideas. So I go, for example, and I was like, okay, so I have a student who is in the renewable energy field. Okay, she came back and now like she's after 20 years being in industry, she now came back to do the master program, and she's like, I want to learn the tools for my business. So she is with us. She's like, I would like to have new ideas to bring to the workplace. So it's not just about if you don't have an idea, it's fine. You learn the tools, you learn how to make your job faster. You learn
Mm,
how to create more time for yourself in the workplace by using these tools. And honestly, it's fascinating. As I told you at the beginning, if you don't keep your knowledge updated from what you have learned back in God knows when, okay, and so on, it's gonna become obsolete at some point because we're with technology, it's happening every day. It's happening. Like what
right.
I've learned back in my undergrad, I do not use these anymore. But again,
Right.
you need to keep updating yourself. So whether you're working or whether you have your own idea, I think learning these technologies is very important.
Yeah, and I mean that's something from a professional development standpoint, but also just where business is going over the next 10, 20 years. I was in college in the 2000s, and a lot of the technology we were using, like, do we just use Google Docs now? Like that's kind of the one thing left over from what we were using in school. But there's so much more that we incorporate, and in another 20 years, you can imagine that's going to exponentially grow. So from a foundational standpoint, professionally, I think this class is essential, but then also if students are really thinking about building out their business, you're essentially providing them with the tools to do it themselves. I mean,
Yeah.
that's unbelievable.
It is. And again, every as you go through this master's, so it's not just as I said, it's about your idea. So I'm gonna tell you just briefly. So I teach, for example, AI for financial forecasting, for example.
Yeah.
If you'd like to go into the stock market or anything like that, business analytics as well. We work on AI-driven marketing, and I teach them how to do their marketing and how to build even a marketing idea or a marketing campaign and present the strategy for your marketing, which you can use in your own business or if you're working for your own company. I use it also in customer personalization with AI. So everything that we see on these, for example, Netflix, Amazon, any social media account that, for example, you are searching for something and then all your feed or all your suggestions is everything to do with how they start personalizing everything, customizing everything for you as human. It's amazing, and this is all we're using with AI tools. And I also teach them how to AI tools for entrepreneurs in terms of how to supercharge your startup or how do you predict what's coming up. How all of these things are just amazing. And as I told you, at the end of the course, they actually either come up with an idea or work in a team.
Mm. We're just having a few technical difficulties. Looks as though we lost Anoud for a second. We're going to give her a second here. I think she'll come back. All right. While Anoud figures out the technical side of it, I am going to share a little bit of the information. Was going to share following our interview. We've got one more question I want to just get from her, so we will let her come back here in a second. In the meantime, I want to just spend a little bit of time here giving you all. Oh, there you are.
I'm sorry.
You're
I don't
back. No, no,
know.
you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Internet from working from home, it's always testy. I get it.
I don't know what happened. It just disconnected.
Well, I've got I mean, I appreciate you sharing all of that because that the diverse skill sets that students can get by taking your course would help them from a business startup standpoint, but also from professionally. I mean, it's just so exciting, and I really appreciate you sharing so much about it. Anyone who's listening to this right now, you will obviously talk to me as we build out your degree plan, but I cannot recommend ENTP 6300 enough. If you cannot already tell from this conversation, Professor Bani-Hani is very, very passionate about working with students, about spending time with students, about providing feedback and insights, plus has her pulse on a very, very a new industry that is going to probably change the world in probably ways that we can't even anticipate right now. And having that level of expertise from someone who is clearly willing to help you all learn this for yourselves is a huge, huge valuable thing. Um, Last question for you, just about our program. I ask all professors to share this, during this conversation because I think it's always, oftentimes the most illuminating. So students are going to come into this program, and there's going to be a lot of flexibility and a lot of adaptability already built in for them, which is something that we do to provide them with um, as much of a balanced program as we can because we realize many of our students are full-time employees themselves. They have kids, they're parents, they've got stuff going on in their lives. But one of the challenges with that approach is that if you don't, like a 1 year MBA program, you are in this program for a year. This is what you're doing. You're with a cohort. There's a ton of, if you fall behind, there's other people. This program, like running a small business, requires you to be, the person driving yourself. And so I'm curious, what are three things that you would recommend any MS entrepreneurship student do as they complete their program to ensure that they're getting the most out of it as possible?
Sure. One of the most, as you said, you are the person in control at the end of the day. So if you do not engage with mentors early, okay, that will put you a little bit back. So it's very important that don't wait until your capstone to connect with faculty and visiting entrepreneurs. Mentorship is the greatest return on investment in this program, honestly. Like, go ask questions, visit us, come to us, send emails, attend talks, things like that. Build and test constantly. Use every class to push your idea forward. Don't just like sit in the classroom, just listen or wait for the professor to give you an idea. Find your idea. Like as we're talking, like that's why I give the students maximum of the first 3 weeks to look at the ideas I'm going to present, bring into the classroom and so on. But then I want you to tell me your idea. So build and test constantly, validate, prototype, pivot. The curriculum is designed for momentum. So it's really important that you actually be there. Leverage AI and data tools. Whether you are testing customer segments, forecasting revenue, or crafting a pitch deck, AI can help you move faster and smarter. Like, and again, as this is what I told you, Brian, earlier. A lot of my students with their feedback who have made like years and years of experience, they saying, we've been doing a lot of this, but AI is helping us going much be more smarter, faster, saving us a lot of money when doing our marketing campaigns, or for example creating logos or creating background, whatever you want. And at last, like, stay curious and collaborate.
Mm.
The people sitting next to you might be your co-founders, investors. And I always tell the students, I was like, if you don't have an idea, look at the ideas around you of your friends. You might be a co-founder with them one day, okay? And you can even be working with them. They could be your future business partners, or they could be, you could work with them at the end of the day. So stay curious. It's very important, and attend events. Like we at the university have go above and beyond to just bring you mentors, bring you networks, bring you people to actually teach you new things. Go visit these events. Just set network with people. Networking is one of the most important things I find when it comes for you as an entrepreneur, because it's not just gonna help you open up your mind, learn from these people, and so on. It's gonna also help you build your own business. These people can connect you to somebody that you would never thought that, oh my God, I'm gonna be talking to this person or that person, and so on. So it's really an opportunity for you to show yourself and be there.
I love that. So I want to just review for everyone listening. Uh, these are Anoud's tips that she would recommend for all students who are joining our program. Take advantage of mentorships and our events and networking. Really, just get yourself out there, even if it's outside of your comfort zone. I think you can probably speak to this. I know I can. It can be very daunting to go to some of these events for the first time and to approach an entrepreneur or an investor for the first time and be willing to share your ideas. Sometimes that takes a lot of courage on the behalf of a new student. Once you do it the first time, you then realize the benefit, and then you have to do it a second time, and then the third time. And then once you start getting into the rhythm of it, there's a groove, and we try to plan as many events and offer as many mentorship opportunities and internships for students to really take advantage of that hands-on experiential education. So that's fantastic. Take advantage of AI and new technology. We have multiple courses right now in new technology. We have a dedicated AI course within our program. The reason here is not just because these are hot new industries that we need to highlight, it's because these are tools that really can be utilized to build out your business. And then staying curious and being open to collaboration. I love this one. This part of the challenge, I imagine, with developing a new business concept and it being successful is that you kind of think you cracked the code. Um, but that curiosity, if you don't have it, it could hold you back from that next great idea. Or you're developing an idea and you keep hitting dead ends. If you open your mind a little bit, if you collaborate with someone who's coming from a different perspective, maybe you're able to see a pathway through any immediate challenges. All the successful companies had hit those hurdles. The successful companies overcame those hurdles and moved on to the next one. And it's just, can you keep going in that sort of standpoint? So I love that. So those are great tips. Any other thoughts you have for our prospective MS and entrepreneurship students here who are watching?
Sorry, say that again.
Sorry, any other thoughts that you have for our prospective entrepreneurship students that are watching?
No, if you have any questions, always reach out. As I said, talk to us. We're all here. Brian is amazing. He can always guide you through whatever questions you need. I am here if you have any questions. We're just one email away. Always send the email. If you have any questions for me, I'm more than happy to answer. But I'll be definitely looking forward to having you in our classes if you join the program, and looking at your ideas and help you build up.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Professor, and we really appreciate all that you provide for our program. And I'm excited for everyone who's watching who's going to take ENTP 6300 because they're clearly going to get a ton out of this. Thank you so much, Anud.
Brian, thank you so much. Thanks.
All right. I'm going to share my screen for everyone who's watching here. I've got just a couple quick slides I want to go through just to provide additional insight into our program here. So bear with me here for a couple minutes and then we'll get you all back on your way. So the Jake Jobs Center for Entrepreneurship, this was founded in 1996 as the Bard Center. This was renamed in 2013 following a $12 million gift from Jake Jobs, who we are celebrating today. It's his 95th birthday, and we are celebrating him throughout the day. We got a big party going on today, which we're really excited about. We are an academic department, we're a resource center, and we are here to foster entrepreneurship at CU Denver. That is our entire goal as a center. We have relationships that we develop with local business leaders. These provide opportunities and support for entrepreneurship students. And we offer experiential events like the Climb that are designed to drive forward your entrepreneurship studies. The program is a customizable 30 credit curriculum. You choose any 10 courses within the program that align with your interests, your goals, your knowledge gaps. Courses are focused on small business finance, concept development and pitching, visionary leadership, business planning and launching startups, social entrepreneurship, AI, like we talked about. And then we offer a number of experiential opportunities. The Climb, the Best of Colorado Speaker Series, our mentorship opportunities with local entrepreneurs, and our internship opportunities for credit allow you to think and act like an entrepreneur from day one in the program. As I just noted, our advisory council, we have some of Colorado's most recognizable entrepreneurs, innovators, and industry experts. Joel Apple, the co-founder of OxyClean, Orange Glow, Kaboom, and Zadie's Deli. Karen Hertz, the chief barista and founder at Holiday Brewing. And Sam Kumar, the CEO and founder of CyberSanic. These are just a few of our advisors that will work with you as a student. These people and more will serve as mentors for all entrepreneurship students. So we will work with you to finalize a mentor that fits your goals, your field, and puts you in a position where you're able to get all the feedback and insight and connections that you need to be successful. We can also set up internship opportunities with these folks as well. Tuition really quickly. So in-state tuition, 772 a credit hour equals 2016 per course. Non-resident is currently at 927 per credit hour, so 2781 per course. Estimated total cost right between $26,000 and $35,000, including fees, depending on your residency, depending on where you're at. Tuition and university fees, I just want to note they are subject to change, so just be mindful of that. But we do try to offer as many opportunities as we can for students to utilize this program without incurring too heavy of costs. The application, so for anyone out there who is applying for our program for any time in 2026, domestic students, I'll do international students on the next slide, but domestic students, it's an application, short answer questions, updated resume, transcripts are needed from all institutions where credit was awarded. There's no GMAT, no GRE required. Your references are optional, so you do not need to provide references. You don't need to worry about that. The application fee is $50, and our spring 26 deadlines, the domestic priority already passed October 15th. The final deadline for applying for the spring 2026 start date as a domestic student, as a U.S. resident, is December 15th. For international students, same application as domestic applicants, but with a couple of caveats. So it's a $75 application fee instead of the $50. This is for the international credit evaluation. So we have recommendations, ECE and WES, but you note there's a star there above the evaluations. We have an in-house credit evaluator here at CU Denver. So if you pay that $75 application fee, that is dramatically lower than what ECE and WES will charge. You can get the international credit evaluation through CU Denver. So ask any questions if you have about that. Otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward process. English language, TOEFL, IELTS, those both work. Duolingo works as well. You will be applying for the F1 student visa upon being admitted and enrolled into the program. And the deadlines for international students, we've already passed the spring 26 deadline. So if you are still applying as an international student, we're going to need to look to fall 26. The priority deadline for fall is March 15th, and the final deadline is May 15th. And then, as I noted, CU Denver has an in-house app evaluator with that will work for you with the app fee paid. And then quickly, any upcoming webinars just for our students out there who have questions about this. Next month, I will be hosting an application overview webinar to dive into the application for any last-minute applicants. In February, we'll be back with our student ambassador webinar. In March, we'll be hosting another faculty webinar. April, we will host a webinar with two of our finalists from the Climb. In May, we will host our application overview webinar again ahead of the deadlines for international students. In June, we'll do another faculty, and in July, we'll do one more application deadline webinar so that you are able to get some information about how to apply for the program ahead of the deadlines. Keep an eye out for any email invites in the coming weeks. And then all webinars include an app fee waiver for domestic students. International students still have to pay that $75 just because of the credit evaluation. And then my contact info is up here on the screen. So I'd encourage you to take a screenshot of this. If you have questions, please feel free, send me over an email. I'm always available to talk, answer any questions. Happy to connect you with Professor Bani-Hani if you have questions specifically for her about her course. We're here to work with you, to put you all in a position where you're able to succeed within the program. So thank you everyone who has joined us here live, and thank you to everyone who is watching from afar. Professor Bani-Hani, thank you so much for your time. This was fantastic, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you so much, Brian. Bye.
Thank you all.